What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Hey, we didn't realize that Magic set this thing for 10 minutes prior to the draw time and then bailed. So then we all showed up and we're like, oh, we're supposed to be live now. So here we are. Appreciate everyone hanging in there with us. Jared Welch, Aaron Halterman, Mike Somich, what's up, boys?
Not much, man. Belmont week, baby. Let's go.
Somich, how you living up there, man?
I'm officially a Floridian. I'm living the island life now, so it can't get me down, man.
Are you gonna have cornrows soon, like the Islanders?
I will be very tan very shortly. I tan very quickly and very dark, so get ready for that. It's gonna happen.
Ooh, oh boy, ladies, tune into this. This is the Racing News channel. Just got a big time upgrade, is what it sounds like.
We've got Racing Dudes After Dark starting next week.
I love it.
It'll be like night and day whenever you watch the Magic Mike show. You'll have so much on one side and the pale white boy on the other side.
I don't think Magic ever leaves the house. So yeah, that's certainly
We can say that because he's not here, so it's fine.
Yes.
So what are we gonna do? Are we gonna? Are they doing the? Are they just kind of like showing the actual Belmont Stakes and then just going to announce the other ones or what?
Yeah, this draw will be just for the Belmont that they'll do live. By the way, it is not on yet, so we are still waiting for it to come on. Big surprise there. So we do have some fantasy claims for the Fantasy League of ours, so I thought I would just do those real quick, get those out of the way, and then we could go on. And hopefully by the time I'm done, they'll be drawing the race. That sound good with you guys?
I forgot that the Fantasy League was still going on, so
people wasting their time trying to catch Magic and I. It's ridiculous, man. It ain't happening.
I gotta know though, who the hell is claiming? You told me the horses before we went live, so get with it because I've got to figure out who the hell's doing this.
So Nest is the first horse that's going to be claimed today. I'm going to throw it up here now. The random generator. It's a three-way shake for Nest.
Oh my gosh!
Between Paul, Michael and Dan, and Real Dynasty. So those three are going for Nest. I've got the generator. I'll hit it once to show you that it does put different numbers up as I hit it. So are you ready? Do you want me to do it?
Yeah, go for it. Rock it.
Yes. Cannot
wait.
All right,
Paul is going to be 1. Michael and Dan are going to be 2. And Real Dynasty will be 3. Okay, here we go. 3, Real Dynasty has picked up Nest. So Nest to Real Dynasty, they are dropping Simplification.
So they're sitting there in 4th. I guess their only fear really is, I guess if you were to win with We the People, Geis could win with Mo Donegal. He's got Barber Road as well, so he's got some bullets. But what's the theory there? Because even if Nest wins, they don't even get to 2nd.
He was worried about losing. He being Vinny was texting me. He was worried about losing out on like 4th or 5th. He was afraid people were going to pass him, so he's going to take the risk, take Nest, and hope that, hey, if she wins or gets 2nd, I can lock in that 4th place position. And so every position means something. It's scaled, as so. So finishing 4th is much better than finishing 5th or 6th. So
got it.
He took the chance with Nest on that one.
All right, let's roll through this one. They just went live on Naira.
Well, actually, we don't have to have a shake because it would have been between Michael and Dan and Real Dynasty for Golden Glider. But Real Dynasty only wanted to claim 1. So since he won this shake, it's actually just going to be real quick. I'll just announce it now. Golden Glider going to Michael and Dan, and they will drop major.
That's the perfect horse for their team.
Yes. Yes. So there it is. That's it. It's over. And now we're going live on the Naira feed. So we'll get the post positions soon now. So that's good. We got that over with.
Yep, it looks like they're getting ready to draw here. So they're dropping all the little balls in the pool randomizer, and we'll see what we get here.
Bad joke. I said that's what she said. Shouldn't have done that. All right. So. All right, anybody? All right, Dave, here we go. They're drawing somebody. Here we go.
All right, Rich Strike draws the 4 post.
Yes. So debating on odds, morning line of 7-2 for Rich Strike.
I think that's pretty accurate. I think he actually might go down a little bit. We'll talk more once we obviously get the full field here. Golden Glider going to the 7.
Golden Glider to a 7. Okay.
I mean, as we sit here and watch these, does post position mean anything to you guys in this race?
No.
Very little. I mean, because it's so much longer of a race. There's a long run up to the first turn. Everyone's really going to be in whatever position they want to be, and you shouldn't get in too much trouble considering the field size here. Now that we're down to 9.
Especially when you consider the fact that there's one horse that's going to want to get to the lead, really, and that's We the People. So as long as he is able to break from the actual gate, what does it matter? It really doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't make a big difference. I mean, he'd probably prefer to be in like the 2 or the 3 here versus the 9. The 1, 2, and 3 are left. Mo Donegal draws the 6. Barber Road the 8. He'd probably prefer to be in the 2 or the 3, but I mean, he's going to clear the field from the 9 post anyway. So it's nothing's going to be really too big of a surprise here.
Yeah, I mean, 3, 3, 2, and 1 are all still there. That would be ideal, right? 3 gets Nest.
Yeah, Nest 8 to 1.
This is what I'm talking about, Naira. This is efficient. You're going quick.
This is nice.
I got to give them credit. This is a lot better than the other draws that we've seen. It's just snapping.
Take a break now. Can we take a break now? That we have
They had more lines ready to go
out there, so obviously they'll want to do better, right? Or be better for.
Yep. We the People draws the 1 and is set as your morning line favorite at 2 to 1.
Whoa!
Any surprise there, guys?
Shocked.
I don't.
Really?
I don't. I wouldn't have been surprised if he went off as the favorite, but to be the morning line favorite is surprising.
Correct.
What do you think?
Go ahead.
You think it's because of pace setup? I mean, is that the main? I mean, because We the People has a significant pace advantage. Your main rivals, your next 2 choices are going to be Mo Donegal and Rich Strike, who both are coming from the clouds. So you have a clear pace advantage for We the People against his main competitors. Do you think that's the reason for the morning line, or do you think this is more of a just trying to estimate where he's actually going off at here?
I thought he'd be the second choice on the morning line, and I thought he would be maybe the favorite when they went to post. So maybe the morning line maker did a good job of making this, because I could see him eventually becoming the favorite. And, David Aragorn, very good morning line maker up there at NYRA, probably one of the better ones out of the major circuits, him and John White. So it's probably a good morning line, but it still kind of shocks me that he had kind of the guts to do it. Because, you're taking a horse that just, the Derby winner's in this, and a horse that beat the Preakness winner and is trained by Todd Pletcher is in this, and you set We the People at 2 to 1. That's pretty gutsy.
Yeah. Right now, overseas, right after the draw, you're seeing plus 225 on Mo Donegal, plus 275 on We the People. So overseas, they're still giving Mo Donegal a slight edge in the betting pools.
I honestly thought kind of 5 to 2 might be the morning line low, and that would be on Mo Donegal. So I don't necessarily feel like that's an error there. But then I thought maybe We the People would be 3 to 1. And then honestly, Rich Strike, I thought might be 4 or 5 to 1, and maybe he is. The problem is when we saw this with the Preakness, when you have these odds at a certain price, like Epicenter or whatever, like now you're setting the bar. So now these horses are going to be bet lower than. So now it seems more likely that We the People would go off the favorite. And Rich Strike, it seems like a dream if you're going to get 5 or 6 to 1, which I really hope you would. I just don't see that's going to be possible when he's sitting there at 7 to 2 morning line.
Well, I don't know if you guys have seen the comments. So I did do a Rich Strike capsule for our YouTube page, and I checked back on the comments today. There's a lot of people that are planning on betting Rich Strike, and that think Rich Strike is going to roll here if we go by those comments. And so I wouldn't be surprised if Rich Strike ends up at like 3 to 1, somewhere in that range. And if Rich Strike is 3 to 1, to me, it's not that I don't think that he's look. Did a great job in the Derby. Don't want to take any credit away from him, but 3 to 1 is just way too short for my money.
We did a show last night, my dad and I, on the Dudes Who Bet show, and we talked about who was going to be the favorite, and everybody in the chat had a different opinion. And that was kind of my point when I started it of, hey, look, I have no idea who's going to be the actual favorite in this race, because you do have that crazy, not crazy as far as passionate, not they're crazy, just they're very passionate about Rich Strike. He has a huge fan base. They're really jacked up that he's back. So he's going to take a shit ton of money in that situation. You have Mo Donegal, who, like I said, he beat the Preakness winner. He's trained by Todd Pletcher. you got to think he's going to take money. And then if you're a pace handicapper, I have no idea how you're not picking the one in this race, We the People. I have no idea. How do you look at this and not pick We the People if pace is your main handicapping factor?
So to that point, let's talk about the actual race itself. So forget the fact that the odds are odds, whatever. Let's say you get 5-2 on We the People. Let's say you get 5-2 on Mo Donegal. Let's say Rich Strike is in that 7-2 range. So you kind of have your options there. Yeah, I mean, he draws the rail. He's going to get the shortest trip around the track, basically. We just saw him do it at this track in the Peter Pan, where he went gate to wire. There's literally Skippy Longstocking, no, Nest. I mean, Nest is the only horse that I feel like is going to have some sort of placement closer to him. There's obviously Barbara Road, no Rich Strike, Creative Minister, no, definitely not Mo Donegal. It's going to be a case of really the biggest question you have with We the People is, can he go 1.5 miles? And that's really the because if no one can get close to him, it doesn't matter. You know, I keep talking about, can he handle multiple attempts? You know, can he hold off Nest, but then here comes Rich Strike or whatever it is. But if he's out far enough and setting this on his own, he may not get any attempts to him. So can anybody even challenge him?
Can I throw something out here? Because I just thought of this. I was shocked when Nest entered this race. I was not expecting her to be in here. And you have a Rapoli stable horse with the other Ortiz brother, the only other horse that has any speed in this spot, setting it up for Irad on the other Rapoli horse. Do we think Nest might be a little bit of a rabbit in this spot?
I think it's possible. We talked about this theory last night as well, and I said, look, everybody reads the form just like all of us do, right? Meaning jockeys, trainers. Everybody's got to be look at this and go, there is one horse with a ton of speed, and then there's 7 closers. Somebody's got to go, right? And so Nest is a logical candidate because of what you just said. You got the Ortiz brothers, so we could get that angle going all you want. I mean, the conspiracy
theories.
I'm not
getting hats on.
Right. But that's also it's 2 horses with Pletcher. One's a closer who's 5-2. One, like you said, I wouldn't call Nest a speed horse, but she can be more forwardly placed than most of the other ones in this. It makes sense that she's going to get sent.
I mean, I guess that is the way that We the People has any type of pressure too. Because like you said, everyone else, I mean, Creative Minister, Mo Donegal, Gold Glider, Barbara Road, Skippy Longstocking, Rich Strike, 0 speed between those horses. Like, they are not going to be anywhere near the pace. I guess Skippy Longstocking was within 4 lengths in the Preakness, but like no one's going to go 24-49 with We the People, which is most likely what you're going to see here to start out the Belmont because it's a longer race.
Yeah, I got the great honor of doing Golden Glider on our previews, and I kind of forgotten that. And I don't know if it was because Ricardo got the mount that day and they tried something different or what. But if you remember, he was second early in the race of the Bluegrass. Golden Glider was behind Emmanuel, who set very mild fraction. So he tried it. It obviously didn't work well at all. Then the next, the next time out, in the Peter Pan, he was nowhere near We the People. So was that an outlier? Probably. I don't think he's fast enough to even, if they do try to do something like that, I don't think he's even fast enough to I don't think We the People will ever see him. So really, if he's not the horse, which I don't think he is, Nest, go back and look at some of her races. I mean, she definitely has the tactical ability. And Pletcher all along has said the big reason here for running her in this race is the distance. There's not really an option for her to run this long, obviously, against the girls. And so, it's a $1.5 million race, and he obviously thinks the distance is going to hit her well. So, yeah, I mean, why not, right? Go and challenge the one, and hopefully it sets up well for Mo Donegal. And best case scenario is Mo Donegal runs down Nest at the end, and you finish 1-2 in the race, right?
The other part about the pace I think is important to note too is it's a 1.5 mile race, right? So if We the People goes 24:49, 24:48, something like that. We're talking seconds slower than the pace was set in either the Preakness or the Derby. So a lot of these horses could be closer up to that slower pace. Then the question is, can you catch We the People down the lane? Because We the People will have a ton left, even though you're going to see horses like Mo Donegal, Rich Strike, not being 20 lengths back, but being, 4 lengths back, right? You still have to pass We the People. And that's when it turns into a 6 furlong sprint. Are any of those horses going to be able to do that is the big question.
If you guys were training We the People, or if you guys weighed 100-pound less and was riding We the People,
more than 100, buddy.
It's kind of one of the me too. Kind of one of those things.
Yeah,
it's kind of one of those things where do you try to ride this horse and get like Somich is saying, you set like that 49 half and you leave those other horses a little closer, or do you kind of just get some separation and say, let's get 6 lengths ahead of them? And they can't get me, because we see this all the time. It's like it's a lone speed, and then they slow it way down, and then the closers are closer, or just go and forget about it. What would you guys do?
I think I would use, if I was me, I would use my speed as my biggest weapon here. Problem is with if you stay too close, like these none of these horses that are going to be coming there's no horse that has like that monster move. They're all very much grind. They're just going to continue to come, especially Mo Donegal, especially Barber Road, especially Rich Strike, if he can pull off again what he did in the Derby. Like, they just make that kind of keep coming. So if you can separate, if you're We the People, you can separate, say 3 lengths or something as they hit the top of the stretch. You're going to make their jobs, like, they're going to have to be undeniably the best in order to run you down.
Yep.
I never like being up 6 lengths. I think that's because that generally is a little aggressive, but I do like the idea of being 2 or 3 lengths ahead. And I don't love like a 50. I think We the People could go 50 seconds if he wanted to in the first half in this race.
Yeah.
I do not like that idea. I think they should try and go 24:48. Just run 12s. And because the other thing that you're going to see is if Rich Strike or Mo Donegal decide they want to be closer, all of a sudden their game has changed. They're not as much of a closer. Now they're more of a stalker. They're almost an EP pace where they're sitting closer to the lead, but the pace is a little bit quicker. If you can catch them and get them to play your game a little bit, if you're We the People, and as Jared noted, these aren't like turn of foot horses, right? These aren't push button horses. These are grinders. If you take away some of that ability and you kind of take some of the wind out of them in the first half, it's going to make We the People's job actually easier coming down the lane. So I would love to see like the 28, 24, low 48. And if you have like Rich Strike or Mo Donegal within 4 or 5 lengths of that, I think that's going to be tough for them.
I think you said it best. Run 12s. If you run 12s all the way around the track, if you're We the People, you're winning the race without any question. Because to what Jared said is completely accurate. People will look at Mo Donegal and think, "Oh, what are you talking about? He's got a great turn of foot." He really doesn't. He closes well at a steady pace the whole time, and he grinds you down. Now, a lot of times people will say, "Oh, he's a grinder," and that's kind of a negative. Well, he's a fast grinder is what I would call it. Like Barber Road runs the same speed all the way around the track. Mo Donegal doesn't do that. He has a little bit of acceleration, but it's not that bam. I went from 5 lengths behind to ahead of you in a couple seconds. It's going to take him some time. So I'm with you guys both. If you've got that separation turning for home, I think you can beat him. If he's within a couple of lengths turning for home, I think Mo Donegal wins this race.
Well, I think we'd be remiss if we didn't mention the Wood here too, right? I mean, You saw Early Voting win the Preakness, so clearly a good horse, right? And Early Voting had a fairly easy lead, similar to what we're going to see from We the People on Saturday in the Belmont. And Mo Donegal was able to run down Early Voting, and Early Voting went 12s toward the end of that race. So, I mean, I don't, just because I think We the People is lone speed doesn't mean I don't think Mo Donegal can get him. To me, I think this is the quintessential 2-horse race. I think it's either you're going to see We the People wire this field, or you're going to see Mo Donegal catch him late. And maybe some other horses can pass him if for some reason he's worn down. But I find it pretty tough to find a winner of this race outside of those two.
Definitely feels like you're going to see here goes We the People. He's stretching out here, and here comes Mo Donegal. Here he comes, and can he get there? It is worth noting, because one of the big things was We the People was so bad in the Arkansas Derby, like beyond bad. And then he comes back and he looks awesome in the Peter Pan. It just so happened to be on a track that was a mess. It was sloppy. And you kind of wonder, well, what was that? Was that him? Was that the track? Was it the speed and the track combined? Well, we've got rain. I mean, rain seems. I never want to. I've gotten. You can't handicap these assuming it's going to rain. But looking at the forecast, it does appear that the track. There's rain Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday's got showers listed, chance of showers. So there's a chance the track could be. So if that's the case, if you get him lone speed and you get a track that's not fast, does he become like an automatic like single for you? Like, are you factoring in the track part that much?
For me, no. Especially because Mo Donegal is an Uncle Mo who loves an off track too, right? I mean, the main competitor in my mind is bred to want to be on a sloppy track as well. So yeah, We the People looked amazing running over the track with an off track, but I wouldn't downgrade Mo Donegal because of it. And I'm not, look, sometimes at Belmont, especially when you're the best horse, if you get loose on the slop, it can be awfully tough. And I think that's really what happened in the Peter Pan. I think this is a much more difficult field, and you're also doing something new, going a mile and a half, which makes it. The old adage is never play the favorite doing something they've never done before. Well, it's We the People is doing something he's never done before, facing both this level as well as going this distance, and it is a bit of a question mark for him.
There's no way I would single We the People in this spot because I do kind of think he's a bit of an all or nothing type, right? Like if he wins by 3, I don't think anybody's going to be real shocked because of this pace advantage, but. You hit it right on the head. And Jared, you said it in the chat last night at the show that we did. This horse really has still a lot to prove. You won the Peter Pan over a bunch of bad horses on a sloppy track in gate to wire fashion. Your one race in Grade 1 company, and people go, well, it was this and it's that, and the break and it's this. Forget it. He was a no-show in that race. So He has a ton to prove in this situation.
I agree. Yeah, that's the fear, right? Because he did nothing up until, he looked good, but let's be honest, he did nothing up until the Arkansas Derby. The Arkansas Derby was a total bust, like you said. Beyond awful. Then he goes into the Peter Pan, which, like in the words of Papa Dude, like, who cares? It's the Peter Pan. He beat nothing. He got a low, you know what I mean? Like, he got low. He was the only speed, and in a sloppy track, you want to factor that in. So the point is, yes, he's impressive. Yes, he was really good in that race. But 2-1 in this race is a lot to prove. He still has so much to prove. And Mo Donegal, even though you do average strike in here, Mo Donegal's easily the classiest horse of the bunch. He shows up every single time you ask him. Now he hasn't won a Grade 1 yet. Maybe it's here. But yeah, there's a lot with We the People that you have to be very confident in him at 2-1. If he's 4-1, 5-1, great, but 2-1, you're gonna have to plan on him being the horse you hope you think he is.
Well, it's funny you say that. The top 3 choices, the only horse on here that I think is kind of close to the fair odds is Mo Donegal at 5-2. I think that's a fair win price on Mo Donegal. I think We the People at 2-1 is a little short, and I think Rich Strike at 7-2 is a little bit short. And so it's hard for me to really get behind either of them for a win bet. Mo Donegal at 5-2, I think, is an accurate price. I think that's about where he should be, somewhere between 2-1 and 3-1. So I do think he kind of fits well, but the price is an issue with We the People as well. And I don't think that David Aragon is wrong here. I think this is probably about what these horses are going off at. I think it's a pretty good morning line. I think you're going to probably see between 5-2 and 2-1 on both Mo Donegal and We the People. I'm not sure who's going to go off favored. I think Rich Strike might get bet down a little bit to 3-1. So I think this is a pretty good morning line.
Yeah, I agree. And like I said, in Somich, we follow all these tracks. He's usually the best morning line maker out of the East Coast tracks. I
especially for tough tracks to do it at. Between Belmont and Saratoga, he does a wonderful job at hard tracks to be ML Laker.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk past these a few, because people are going to be like, well, great, 2-1, 5-2, who cares? I'm not playing those. I never play. Rich Strike, he was great at 80-1. Can't play him at 7-2. You talk about the ultimate 80-1 to 7-2. You talk about the ultimate change in odds right there might be the biggest of all time. Okay, so let's talk about some of the other ones. 20-1 on Skippy, Creative Minister at 6-1. That seems way low. Golden Glider 20-1, and then Barber Road at 10-1. Do any of these horses interest you guys? I'm gonna skip Nest because I still think Nest at 8-1. You're probably going to be bet down a little bit from there. But do you think any of those horses interest you in terms of keen on the tries or something like that, to where you're going to get some value in those? Any of those horses interest you in this race?
Creative Minister. I don't like 6-1. That's the horse. That's the horse for me. It was a horse in the Preakness I keyed underneath. It'll be the same thing for the Belmont. I will definitely key Creative Minister underneath.
I don't hate Skippy Longstocking either, who ran a pretty good Preakness race, being hung wide on both turns, and was able to kind of run up, and I think ended up finishing 5th in the Preakness. It should get a much better trip here from the 2 posts. The price of 20-1, significantly better than Creative Minister at 5-1, who would be probably the other horse I would talk about playing underneath. I mean, to me, if you're looking for value, you play Mo Donegal on top, and you play like the 2, 3, 5, Skippy Longstocking, Nest, and Creative Minister underneath, and you try and get We the People to quit, and you try and get Rich Strike to run out, and all of a sudden there's a ton of value in the try and the super. But to me, I think from a price perspective, I think Skippy Longstocking is the best kind of try super horse, who should be able to run up, and I'm hoping could be a little bit closer to the pace than we saw in the Preakness and get a little bit less wide of a trip. Also, ran 3rd in the wood and ran a good 3rd in the wood behind Mo Donegal and on over to New York track. So give a little credit for that as well.
Yeah, I don't hate Skippy at all in terms of underneath. I almost put a claim in for him before the Preakness because I thought, as I told Alton, I was like, I'm going to run him in both races just because look at him. He's going to, sure enough. So I don't hate that underneath. Keep him 3rd. And maybe this is the worst omen of all times, and I apologize, Shoddy, but Barber Road, why can't he finish 3rd? I mean, he was right there with Mo Donegal in the Derby, and the problem is with him. The problem and the good thing about it, they work both ways, is he's the poor man's version of Mo Donegal, whereas he shows up kind of every time, but he never is any threat to ever get close to winning. So the pace might hurt him a little bit in this race, but you kind of feel confident that you're going to get a run. And so keying him in that 3rd, maybe even 4th spot if you're playing a super, the fear here is he getting now that I'm kind of quote unquote on board, is everyone going to, is 10-1 going to be, I mean, maybe he probably should be like 20-1. He probably should be like Skippy. So maybe the value isn't quite there with Barber Road, but I still think you can depend on him for making a run.
Well, the Joel Rosario pickup, I mean, I've been critical of Joel the last week or so because he's had some real bell curve rides, but he kind of fits the horse well, right? I mean, like this is the style of horse that Joel can actually improve. He's going to try and push the horse late and get Barber Road to make one run, and that's what Joel is good at.
100%. He fits this horse perfect. This is the type of horse he can move up. It's a closer that's looked one pace. Now you get Joel Rosario on him. If he's a closer that looks like one pace after this, that's absolutely 100% what he is. Joel might be able to get a little bit more out of him. He can outrun his odds. There's no question about it. And like you said, Mo Donegal and him were right there together in the Derby. And I take the Derby with a grain of salt. I look at the entire picture. I don't think they're together most of the races they would have ran before that. But in that race, they were. The Joel Rosario aspect is huge for me. I'm with you on that.
But the thing about him is that you look at whether it would be whatever race setup, the Rebel, he showed up late to the scene. You look at the Arts of Derby, he showed up late. You get to the Kentucky Derby, here he came. You know what I mean? Like, he's not ever any threat to win any of these races, but he always just kind of shows up. And in a race that is 1.5 miles and you never know what horses are going to like that or not, you kind of feel confident that it's like, oh, We the People, Mo Donegal, wait a second, there's Barber Road, he finished 3rd, or whoever it is. Like, you don't think he's going to be a threat, but he could definitely get in there and kind of juice up some of these. I saw a question come up earlier and I lost it, but when is the rest of the card being drawn? right now?
Your guess is as good as ours. Usually they'll come out about 1 o'clock Central Time with Belmont's card. So I'm expecting to come out pretty soon. I would say they're drawing it, right now. I don't know when it will actually be available, but early this afternoon is my guess.
Yep. Yeah, it's supposed to be out today, and hopefully DRF puts it out early this afternoon.
Yeah. Here's a question from, I don't think Magic's asking, but it's a fan question. Fan question received from Teddy. I don't know who Teddy is, but thanks, Teddy. All right. So I plan on throwing a party for the Belmont Saturday. What ideas do you guys have to get family engaged and interested? We have, back before we were quote unquote big time, we threw a lot of parties with our friends and families for the Derby and things like that. And so we were pretty good for a while at getting kind of people engaged and stuff like that. So Halterman, Somich, I know your family's real big into it as well. Thoughts on ideas that they could do for the Belmont party?
The biggest thing, what level of knowledge does the party have in general? If it is just random family and friends, they don't really watch horse racing, the best thing to do, put 8 names in a hat, have them draw it all out, put like $10, $15, $20 in a pool, winner gets the whole thing. That's really the easiest way to do it, where they don't really have to think about it. They pull a number out. That's my horse. They can watch that number. You could do that for several of these races if you're doing, if you're having a party for all day or just in the afternoon or whatever. That's the easiest way to do it. Now, if they have a little bit of knowledge, then you can do a little bit different. You could do a draft, things like that. But it just depends on the knowledge of the people.
Yeah, we used to. So when I was like 5 years old, right, back in my grandfather's house in Granville, New York, they would show the Saratoga replay that day on like a cable channel at, I think it was 6:30 or 7 o'clock. And so we would all huddle around the TV and get a deck of cards out. And ace is a 1, 2 is 2, 3 is 3, all the way up, right? Jack's 11. And we would all put $5 in, and everybody would put $5 in, could draw 1 card. And if your card wins the race, you get the pot. If not, the pot stays for the next race and builds up and builds up and builds up. And, that would be good on a Belmont day because you're going to have quite a bit of races. You're going to have fields that are generally a little bit bigger, so you can handle that many people at a party. Another fun one is to do a jockey pool, right, where you have a jockey. You set it up so you have certain jockeys that cost certain amounts of money, and then you have a jockey in each race. Obviously, Sonny Leone's not going to have as many mounts, so he costs less than like someone like Flavian Pratt or Irad Ortiz who have more mounts. And you set up a point scale of how you get points for each of those races so that they can win. Or every time they win a race, you get $5. That's an easy way to kind of have action all day. Yeah, rolling dice for numbers is a great way to do it as well. What I would say is to find a way to have depends on your family, man.
Family you have.
Yeah. Find a way to have fun with it and do it. I mean, we did with the track, we had beer pong. And underneath each cup was a number, and you throw, and whatever cup you hit, you pick it up, you drink it, and that's your horse number on the bottom. So there's a lot of fun ways to kind of engage it and make it more interesting. I would say just make sure it's random because that's the best way to do it with people who have less experience.
Yeah. That was always, because Halter and I would be the only two really that knew, we would study the field. Like, obviously we could name every single horse, but most people we were with don't know anything. And so it was always fun we were a part of it. We would draw. And so you would draw, like, in this case, you draw, Golden Glider. You're like, shit, but it just adds a whole mix to it my dad has We the People. And so you're like, that horse is pretty good. So kind of gets people interested. And I agree, on a day like this, I would not just do this race because this is just one race of many races. There's 9 graded stakes races on the card, 8 grade 1s. 3 Breeders' Cup winning or in races, and the Belmont's not one of them. So it's a whole day of racing. So get them all over there early. Start, like you said, like Matt or like Somich said, just start a pool and keep putting money in and play each race. And if it wins, great. If it doesn't, leave it in and just keep building it and building it. And because to me, the racing all day is worth participating in.
Yep. Another fun way to do it if you want to have a little bit more input, because obviously the person asking this question is probably more horse racing knowledge forward. Another great way to do it is do a show parlay, right? Have everyone in your family throw $5 or $10 in, And then you have a horse, you start out in whatever, fourth race to show, you take all that money if it shows, roll it over to the fifth, roll it over to the sixth, and have a show parlay and try and get it through the Belmont, because then everyone's rooting for the same horse. So that's kind of a fun way to do it as well. Obviously, there's some risks that people are going to lose the money in that case, but it's a fun way for as a family to kind of have the same interest, so everyone's cheering for the same horse turning for home.
That also fun as well. Yeah, just the main advice is keep it very simple if they don't know anything about racing. And then, like I said, some of the other things, if they do, the show parlay is probably the funnest thing you can do. When you've got a group of 5 or 6 people and you pass the ticket to each race and it's that person's job to pick the one that's going to show, that is a fun way. Even if you're at the track, that's a fun thing to do with a bunch of people.
Yeah, that's what we do in Vegas with my friends. We all go to the race book, and you start with $20. You get drink tickets if you bet $20 to show, and you then come back with a $40 show ticket. They give you more drink tickets. And that's how you drink for cheap in Vegas if you ever want to do it. It's a lot of fun too. When you got up to like $1,000 show parlay a couple times, and all the entire race book, all the tellers are turning around watching the race and going nuts. It's a lot of fun.
Let's see, guys. Who's the most likely to run last?
I think
Golden Glider?
See, I don't like Skippy as much as everybody, so I would think it's Skippy.
I mean, oh man, maybe Nest? Like, because if Nest tries to push We the People, that could be the downfall.
Yeah.
Oh man, all these horses, like they at least like they try, you know. So who's going to be the one that to me it feels like a horse that seemingly gets like Creative Minister or Nest or someone that's a little bit interesting in the race, you know, that just doesn't fire or like does fire, like you said, and gets burned up a little bit.
Yeah, it'll just be, like I said, get a bad trip, get stopped, and we just kind of quit on them type of thing. Yeah, the Nest thing is interesting because if she does go out and like try to run early, that could be weird for her down the lane.
Yeah, to me, this is a really interesting field because you have We the People and you have Mo Donegal, who are, in my mind, clearly like the best 2 horses in the race, right? And then you have 2 absolute wild cards in my mind in Rich Strike and Nest, which they could finish, you know, they could win the race and they could finish dead last, and I wouldn't be utterly shocked if either happens for either horse, right? And then you have Skippy Longstocking, Creative Minister, Golden Glider, and Barbara Road, and that's probably not fair to Creative Minister. It's probably a little better than the other 3, but are all these closers that all generally show up, right? And so you have these kind of 3 separate groups for this race, which makes it a really interesting race to handicap.
Yep.
Yeah, Dave, you're right. I mean, you know, the Creative Minister, for people that don't realize this, he's the only horse in the race that's essentially is going to be ran the Triple Crown. He did not run in the Derby, but he ran on the undercard of the Kentucky Derby. So he's a horse, the only horse in the field that's going to be running 3 races in the 5 weeks. And we all know that's grueling. And of course, the Derby is a whole different monster. So not running in that, it's not the same as running in it, of course. But the horse ran in the Preakness, and the horse is going to run here. Whereas you have horses like We the People, Skippy, all these horses, Nest, who hasn't been seen since the Oaks. You know, Rich Strike, of course, wasn't since the Derby. Mo Donegal wasn't since the Derby. So these horses are somewhat rested compared to Creative Minister, who is even up against it as well. So to me, he's why I'm not. There's multiple reasons, but that's the reason why I don't think he can win, just because you're talking about a horse that's ran more than any of these horses, plus he's got a ton to prove.
I mean, does he really have a lot to prove compared to this field, though?
Yeah. I mean
he gets there.
He's done nothing.
He did hit the board in the Preakness.
Well, he was the other, like he was better. Okay, he was better than Skippy. He was better than he was another Secret Oath that day. But can he be?
That day.
I don't think he can win. I think finishing third is totally doable, but I just don't think he can win.
Well, yeah, as far as winning, I agree, but like he doesn't have a lot to prove to hit the board here. I think he.
No. I'm sorry. I meant to win. Yeah.
Yeah, he does. For sure, he does.
Hit the board.
Yeah, for sure, he does have. If him winning would be pretty surprising to me. I'm not going to go crazy here, but yeah, I mean, he fits in underneath pretty darn well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like just like you said, like him finishing third in the Preakness, you're like, makes sense, right? I mean, that wasn't totally crazy. I mean, we hit it, you know, so it wasn't like a crazy outlier. Him winning the race would be nuts. All right.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about any of the under? I know we don't have it out, but do you want to talk? Do you want to give let's give our picks for at least initial picks before we kind of dive into this. Somich, who is your version 1 pick of Belmont?
It's got to be Mo Donegal right now. I mean, just I think the classiest horse in this field, has done the most so far, have the least question marks, and the price to me is the most fair of the horses that I would consider win contenders.
I know what yours is, Halterman, but I'll ask anyways.
Yeah, it's Mo Donegal for me as well.
Oh, I thought you were going to say We the People.
No, I just don't know that horse. I'm going to definitely use the horse. I don't have full confidence that it's not a fluke. Or not even really a fluke. I just don't have full confidence this horse can beat a Grade 1 field going 12 furlongs. And I've seen Mo Donegal run down early voting, and I don't think We the People is as good as early voting. So I just kind of think this is Mo Donegal's race here.
Well, that makes 3 of us. I think Mo Donegal is just the class of the race, and like Somich said, he's the fairest price, 5-2, and also like you said, to go back and watch that Wood, and early voting had a very similar run that he had in the Preakness, where he kind of pulled away, and Epicenter, of course, got a brutal trip that day, but couldn't run him down. No one could run him down. Well, guess who did? Mo Donegal ran him down. And that was going shorter in a 1.8 Wood. So to me, you can't. The Woods came back. That's a strong race. So I'm with you guys. Mo Donegal. Feed a few questions several times about. Davey wants to know the best exotic wager for this race, and obviously you don't probably know exactly what you're going to play yet. But in a race where we're deciding between We the People and Mo Donegal, who are somewhat shorter odds, what's the best way to get value in this race? Is it pounding that exacta? Or is it playing Mo Donegal over 2 or 3 horses that are heavy prices or big prices?
Well, it depends what the exacta pays. If I'm getting 8-1, 9-1 on the 6-1 exacta, I think pounding the 6-1 makes a ton of sense. If you want to try and make a lot of money while risking a little, I think playing a super without We the People or Rich Strike in it makes the most sense. I think that's a great. I mean, look, I think Skippy Longstock and Creative Minister are 2 very good horses to play underneath. If you like Barber Road, if you like Nest, even maybe Rich Strike as a possible superfecta horse makes sense. But I think trying to run, if you want to make money in the exotics, you got to run We the People or Mo Donegal out. To me, We the People's the horse you try and run out. I would probably try and run Rich Strike out as well. So I would probably play something like a 6 over 235, 235, 235 super, and see if you can just get two of the short prices out of it.
I would go 6 over 5-8, just looking at it right now, not really analyzing what exactly I'm going to do. I would try to do it that way in the exotic. I would play that exacta. I just think 5's Creative Minister is going to run pretty well. Barber Road, he kind of just feels like there's that random Barber Road performance, and it's like, he ran well, got second. I would either do that or I just don't like the filly enough. I'm on the same thing. I want Rich Strike out of it. I think he's going to take a ton of money, and I think he is the most likely to be out of it. So you either pound a 6-1 or you go 6 over the 5-8, or if you like Nest, 6 over the 3-5, something like that.
What about the 6-1-5 cold try?
Yeah, I mean, that's probably going to be my top 3. So yes, I could see that being.
You don't mind that one?
Yeah, I could be in on that one. Yeah.
I don't hate playing like something. I mean, Mo Donegal over, like, I wouldn't hate if you played like a Mo Donegal over Nest exacta and just pound the shit out of it, because you have to get We the People out of there, and you got to assume in your mind that that's how the race, that Nest is going to be able to get first run on We the People and say, then here comes Mo Donegal, kind of like you envision Somich, where you have that kind of setup for Mo Donegal. So I don't know what that is, but over 8-1, you're going to get decent value on that. Let's see. Do you want to go to? Someone asked earlier. I don't know where it's at, so forgive me, whoever asked that question. Do you like in the Met Mile? We don't know the exact field yet, but we do know we're going to get Speaker's Corner versus Flightline. Flightline makes his return. How you guys thinking about this one? Because Speaker's Corner has been awesome, but when Flightline was around it's been a minute. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I know I was like, this is like the next superstar horse. So how are you approaching this one?
Tough. Really tough. I got to think about it some more. Seems like Flightline's probably the better of the two as far as talent goes. But boy, Speaker's Corner is consistent, shows up every time. Obviously has no problems staying healthy. It's a tough one.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Flightline's the more talented, but Speaker's Corner has been dynamic on the racetrack. We know Speaker's Corner can handle it. You have Flightline shipping in, so there's some concerns there as well with a horse that's a little bit more fragile, had more issues in that sense. So I think this is going to be an amazing race. I mean, to me, it's probably. It kind of reminds me of Life is Good and Jackie's Warrior that we got to see last year up at Saratoga on the undercard on Travers Day. It's a wonderful race, or 2 years ago on Travers Day. I'm excited to see this race as much as anything else on the card because I think this is two phenomenal horses that are going to bang heads. And it's going to be Flightline's biggest test, too, which I think is exciting. We have not seen Flightline really pushed by anyone yet.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what he is. When he's out in California and he's facing fields that he's way, way better than, it's very easy to just say, well, yeah, Flightline's going to win the Malibu, right? But now you get here and it's like, oh boy, now you got a real big time horse. And you listen, make of it what you will, but saddler horses outside of California, not great. So it'll be interesting. I haven't made a decision on that one.
That's one of those that you don't, and people bitching about field sizes and stuff. It's like, okay, it'd be great, but anything past those two is filler to me. Like, I just need to see those two match up. That's really all I need to see.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's going to be a fun weekend, too. I mean, generally the Friday card is very solid. Saturday, we're going to have some very good turf races as well. So excited to see that stuff. Jared, you want to talk a little about the guide, when we're expecting to be able to put out the full guide?
Yeah, so the guide is in the works. Obviously, once they draw the entire card, Halterman gets going on that completely. I sent over the version for him to start earlier this morning. It's going to be about 24 or 5 pages, somewhere in there. It's going to cover everything you have, everything you need on the entire Saturday racing, the entire festival, not just the Belmont Stakes. All 9 graded stakes, 8 grade ones. Like I said, 3 Breeders' Cup winning or in races. Of course, the Belmont Stakes is included there. All the undercard action, that's included with the guide. Halter and I are going to team up, try to rebound a little bit. We've kind of been cold the last couple of guides in terms of the bankroll. We're going to get going on that, put our heads together on the live bankroll. Of course, you're going to get top 4 picks from the entire team. Somich included there in the for all 9 of the graded stakes races on the card on Saturday at Belmont Park as well. So really it's a huge day of racing. It's not just the Belmont Stakes. And that's kind of why we decided to pivot a little bit and make it more about the entire festival, because for us, the Belmont Stakes is exciting and we'll bet it, but the entire card itself is going to be off the charts.
Oh yeah. We've got a new partnership with BetPTC as well. So we're going to run a quick commercial on BetPTC and talk about what the kind of promotions we got going on with them are. And then we'll be back to talk about kind of what you can get from us for the rest of the week. And then we'll call it a day. So enjoy.
What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Somich coming at you here. And today we're excited to talk about a new partnership over racingdudes.com, BetPTC. We just went into a partnership with them, allowing our users to be able to get not only a $200 sign-up bonus after they bet $750 on the site, but also a rebate. Aaron, you've been using BetPTC. Tell us a little bit about the rebate that you can get.
Yeah, it's been absolutely fantastic. You get up to 4% on your win wagers, 8% on exotics. And the great thing about it is with a lot of rebates, well, you don't get them at all with some. And with some, it takes a while for it to hit your account. Not with BetPTC. Immediately when that race goes official, A, you're going to get your payout, hopefully, because you've cashed your bet. But B, that rebate hits your account immediately. So if you bet $100 on a race, guess what? Or let's say a win, you're going to have $4 in your account immediately when that race goes official. And like I said, up to 8% for exotics.
pretty awesome. Make sure you check to make sure your state's eligible for both BetPTC and the rebate, since it does vary from state to state. If you're looking to sign up and take advantage of a $200 bonus, just click on this Sign Up Now button here at BetPTC.com. Make sure you enter in all your information, scroll down to the bottom, and make sure you include promo code DUDES when you're signing up to be able to get a $200 bonus after betting $750. That gets deposited right into your account, and then you're eligible to get rebates back as well. So make sure you check out BetPTC and give them a shot to see if they can earn your business.
So that's BetPTC. Thank you very much for checking that out. We see some comments in the chat. Yeah, they're working on getting more states available. California is tough from a rebate rule perspective. I know there's a couple other states that don't really allow rebates, but that's a great thing to take advantage of if you are putting a lot of money through the racetracks and you're able to get something back. It's nice. So make sure you check that out if your state is eligible for BetPTC. We got a lot coming up this week here, obviously, with Belmont Stakes. When are we coming back live, guys? What's our plan here?
I think we're going live every day. Magic says, who knows if you'll be here or not, but Magic says we're going live every day. So I think we used to do, or the last two times for Triple Crown races, we were live at noon Central, and I bet that's what we keep. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday will be probably noon Central, and then we'll have a live show for the Belmont and a lot of the undercard races on Saturday.
Yeah, and the three of us will be on the live coverage. So you don't have to sit there and watch 7 hours of Magic alone. We'll be on the coverage as well for the Belmont. Rumors are that Saratoga Slim is going to be live. He'll be there, and not rumors because he has a press pass, so he better be there. But he'll be there at Belmont Park. So if you're going to be there, look for the guy that's like probably wearing some sort of bright colored pants and is just acting like a complete and total maniac. That's Saratoga Slim.
And give him a White Claw so he keeps it up.
Correct.
White Claw.
We'll have the Magic Mike show on Thursday. We're covering the late pick 4 from Belmont, so you'll get we'll cover the all stakes pick 4. I'm not sure if the Belmont's going to be the last race on the card, so we'll cover the pick 4 that ends in the Belmont Stakes. You'll get Magic and I's final picks there, as well as our pick 4 for that sequence on Thursday. That'll be at 5:30 Eastern, 2:30 Pacific, if you want to check it out.
There you go. You see the picture there. I don't know if it's Borat. I don't think Borat Capper will be there. That was a one-time. What? By the way, I've got to add this. Like in Slam, you're watching, so you'll enjoy this. But like. Literally, my kids love Borat Capper. They think it's the funniest shit. They go back. The other day we were looking at old pictures. They like to do that in old videos and stuff. And they like do the guy that's got his hands up like this. And we watched that video over and over and over again. And the one with him dancing, when he was dancing in the crowd. I mean, and that was easily the most fun I've ever had at the track in my life was that day with him acting like a complete and total idiot. And it was people think like that was, I just went along with it. Like I was punishing him, but there was no punishment because
he enjoyed it.
He enjoyed it. And obviously, as anybody knows, he's carried on the shtick for a year now, basically. And so anyways, Saratoga Slim, I don't think you'll see the wig, but he will be there live. So you guys gotta look for him.
I think the only person that doesn't enjoy it is his wife now.
yeah, that's true. I can't say for sure, but for sure she has texted us and been like, "You guys got to get him to stop." Like, hey, you're married to him. You think we have any say in this? Like, no, this is all him.
Exactly.
All right, guys. We will be here all week, one way or another, whether it be live at the track or it be here live on our YouTube channel. Make sure you hit subscribe. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you hit subscribe. Make sure you hit the notification button. Make sure you like this so that way you continue to get alerted and watch all these videos. Tons more. We have analysis of every single horse in this race on our YouTube channel right now. You want to know your thoughts, our thoughts on a particular horse in the race? Just go to our YouTube channel. We have analysis of every single horse in the race. Boys, I think it's time to start handicapping.
Yep. Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in.
Dude's tournament on Friday, too. It's a big week.
Shit, we do? Oh, no.
Is that this Friday? Shit.
I think so. Yeah.
Well, there you go. Bree knows better than we do. At least I do. So, yeah, tournament this weekend too. So if you are if that's true, which I guess it is because we didn't do it Friday.
Yeah.
You become a Racing Dude subscriber, any kind of premium subscriber at racingdudes.com, which gets all our premium picks and things like that. Say you spend $70 on just the basic premium package. Well, that gets you the Belmont guide. That's a $40 value right there. Then that also gets you invited to these tournaments, which the last couple tournaments you win, you get, counting the site credit, you get about $350. So you could pay for itself, the membership, and then some just by becoming a premium subscriber right now at racingdudes.com. So yeah, be on the lookout. I guess. Thanks, Bree. I better put that to my list and add the tournament to the
Who needs
side,
a guy?
right?
We gotta get the tournament going.
One more thing, right? If the Belmont wasn't enough, now I gotta get this damn tournament. No, so I'm still pissed about it because I should have won last week. Neither one of you, and the thing is, neither one of you were there for it. So did it really happen? No.
Nope.
I had Magic and some guy named Nick. So that's. I like Nick. It's more funny when you say it like that. But anyways, yeah. That's it. We'll see you guys later. Look for all our coverage, racingdudes.com. Until next time, boys. Mike Somich, Aaron Alterman. See you guys.